idea what you're talking about. And I haven't been part of this. Why would
Oh, no, I did one meeting. I was just wondering.
Melissa, you're not muted.
you want me to?
What? Oh, hi. I forgot what our topic is today.
Unconditional love.
Ah, there we go. That's a good one.
It is a good.
They shouldn't be part of that. Okay.
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 Now, slowly going live onto Facebook.
Yeah. There's our South African brother, right? Or for England.
Slowly going live onto.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Hey, how you doing, man? Good to have you back.
Yeah, good man.
Yeah.
Hi,
I went to
Andy.
see One Love last night. It was awesome.
You went to see what?
One Love.
One
Bob
love.
Marley.
Oh, was it
Oh, you saw
good?
it? Was it good?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
Hi,
Check it out.
Terry.
Yeah, I would do.
Yeah.
So just again, a reminder that we are live on Facebook and we are recorded.
Okay.
So I invite you to share what you feel comfortable with. And otherwise you are welcome just to listen or type in the chat, whatever works for you. And we'll just get started by a short meditation. So I know Melissa can't meditate, being driving and all.
I will let it
but
resonate.
you can let it resonate. Make your man meditate for you.
Okay. He's got earbuds and he's listening to something. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we'll just come to a comfortable seated position, close your eyes, and just allow your body to settle wherever it is. Noticing how you feel from head to toe. And you don't have to put words to it, you just notice. And then bring your attention to your heart. Can you feel your heart beating? And what does it feel like to receive unconditional love? And just notice from your heart what that feels like. And then switch that off to what it feels to give unconditional love and how that feels in your heart. And as you breathe deeply here, absorb that feeling of unconditional love, either for yourself or for others. And let it tingle throughout your entire body. And then notice how your entire body feels from here. Has that shifted from when you first noticed how your body was today? Breathe in love. Breathe out love. And then bring your hands to heart center. And take one more deep breath in all the way to your toes. Sigh it out. And open your eyes. Welcome, Bella. We're glad to have everybody here. And since we have a few people here that have never been here before, I just want to, welcome you. Two, our topic is unconditional love today. And this is Be the Spark movement. And we are just having a conversation to bring community together to help people realize that we're way more alike than different. and talking about these subjects, such as unconditional love. We've talked about fear, gratitude. Um, we have a whole plan through the end of the year of things to talk about, such as self-love and self-acceptance. And these topics are just to make people think about where they are in their life and talk to us about how this feels and bring us together.
Mm.
So I'm going to give a quick definition of unconditional love and a few things that I want to just plant seeds, and then we'll have a discussion. So unconditional love is loving without strings, offering that love freely, and wanting happiness for others, putting them first above our own needs, empathizing with people through hardships, and celebrating their wins with them. It liberates. It has no agenda. It needs nothing in return. Unconditional love, there's no but to it, such as I love you unconditionally, but that's not unconditional. And it is full acceptance. And as a side note, I just want to say that, in my opinion, we should unconditionally love ourselves first and let that ripple into our other relationships.
Yeah.
So
I must jump in and just be honest about it. I don't know if I've ever received, even as a child, unconditional love. There were always parameters or something that I don't think I did. Maybe I just wasn't accepting of it. I think I've given it, but maybe I'm being biased too. But I think unconditional love, to receive it is very difficult. Now, I think to start with yourself though, that's you have to start there. But to have received, I don't know if I've ever felt like I've received it. It's always come with conditions. And I mean, I'm not even talking about relationship. I'm talking about like family. It's always come with conditions. So I don't know if I've experienced it. I think I've given it, and it's yeah, it kind of puts you out there when you do give it, because if it's not reciprocated, it feels a little odd. And that's just my opinion on it, my experience.
right. Anybody else want to share their experience? It's hard to put into words.
I think it's a expectation of each other. Sometimes we expect that, oh, I love somebody, so somebody should do this for me, or somebody should treat me like this way. So I think when you have a expectation, then you feel like, oh, I'm giving unconditional love, I'm not getting in return, or this person didn't give me unconditional love, because your expectation is too high and it doesn't meet with that level. So I would say it was parallel. If you don't have an expectation, then whatever somebody gives you, that's you should count as a blessing and take it. That shouldn't be like a conditional or a conditional love. It should be just whatever you get, you should count it as your blessing and be happy with that. There shouldn't be any condition or expectation. That's what my opinion is.
I believe that, yeah. Like I mean, for me, of course, I unconditionally love my children more than anything in the world. And like, of course, they're going to do wrong, right? They're going to test us. They're going to do all the things that we did as children, but that's not going to change my love for them ever. Yeah. And to have received unconditional love, I just think of, not to leave Neil out by any means. And if you don't know, Neil's my husband, but my dog, my German Shepherd, and Melissa can probably relate to that. This dog loves me unconditionally. Like I could literally probably do anything to him, not that I ever would, but he would just be by my side no matter what, no matter where I was going or what I was doing. That dog loves me unconditionally.
Yeah.
This is, go ahead, Joe.
No. It's a kind of a hard topic. It's a difficult topic for me, at least. It's just Yeah. I don't know if I've experienced, but I like what B said about just taking the blessings where the blessings come from and not having any expectations. Maybe that yeah, maybe that would work. So you don't, if you don't have well, not high, if you don't have any expectations, then I guess whatever good comes out of it, you just take that and leave the bad stuff and just take the good and say, okay, what lesson is in this? And so that's kind of a good way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a hard subject, isn't it? It
Especially
is.
after you've lived for a little while, like, oh, I don't know. I've been really hurt by people that I really loved unconditionally. That's just being honest. So it's kind of one of those yeah.
Carrie, the one you mentioned that, to our children, we love unconditionally.
Uh-huh.
That's in one part, I do believe that because that's mother's love, if you say so. But same time, if he's a good father, they also love. Sometimes people only appreciate mother's love, but if there is a good father, they also love the children the similar way.
So true.
And yeah, it depends how interpret that love definition, I would say. And when you say, we don't expect from each other, I think animals are different in that respect. Every human expects from everybody. Child expects something from the parents, parents expect something from the child. Every relation have a little bit taken, give kind of situation. And that sometimes people put it as a love symbol, that, oh, I love that person, so that person should do something like that for me. Or,
Right.
oh, that person not doing something for me, so might be they don't love you. So that's we interpret in our own mind. And I think the mind is just very, I would say, very complicated, that it just interprets every little thing, and that puts us in a very bad situation where we sometimes look at the negative thoughts and we feel that we are depressed, or we, nobody loves to us, nobody cares for us. Those kind of feelings, takes heavy on our mind, and that really affects our life. That's the major part, I believe, that love is basically you caring for each other, doing things for each other. Like just now, recently, Valentine's Day began, and people will do so much, like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this for your loved one. No, because the love should be every day. Yes, on you might be, making extra effort to you're not going to do every day, buying the flowers or giving the gifts or something. So it's just one kind of day just to appreciate it. But it doesn't mean that love limits on that particular day. You can do it any day by bringing the flower home and saying, oh, I appreciate you, I
Right.
love you, that's what it is, isn't it?
So
So
true.
that it's a various how you look at it, how you interpret your own surroundings or your own relations. That's what it is. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
oh, sorry.
I think Valentine's Day was a Wednesday. That's it. It was a normal Wednesday. That's how
Yeah.
I feel about it.
That-
I feel that word. I feel unconditional word is I don't know. I don't think it doesn't feel healthy to me. It feels like I think it ties into that word expectations, which gets everyone in trouble. I'm sure my windows, like, trying to close my windows here. Of course, then the dogs will start panting on me and make me hot. But I just feel that it sets us up for the expectations that are not healthy, because we should have a class on expectations. I mean, expectations will hurt you in every direction, but the bottom line is they're our expectations. So unfortunately, I just don't feel, yeah, I believe that unconditional love for my children, and my dogs for sure. But as far as everybody and everybody else, I don't feel that for anyone. And I've never felt it from anyone. Because I think everyone wants you to be either something you're not, or show up differently, or you're talking too loud, or you're chewing too loud, or whatever the heck it is. And nobody just looks at any soul human and goes, "Oh, I unconditionally love you for every single thing that you bring to the table." Like,
Mm.
I just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I resonate with that, with the word, the
Mhm.
concept of it in theory when it comes to humans, other
Yeah.
than my motherly love.
Right.
Does that make
Mhm.
sense? I mean, it sounds
I think
kind
it
of
does.
negative, but
No.
I believe in love, and I believe in doing your best to love the person and that person with all your might, and be that loyal and show up and be the best version of yourself for them. But I don't know. I don't necessarily. I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying for sure. One of my most, I wouldn't say hated, that's a strong word. I don't like Valentine's Day. And the reason I
Yeah.
don't like that, I never have, even as a kid, it has nothing to do with boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. I just always have felt like people are forced to do this because this is what society says.
Yes.
To me, loving someone is not taking one day and buying $7,000 worth of flowers, and that proves to the world that you love this person. I've never liked it. Even as a kid,
Yeah.
when we were passing out candy, that was cool because that's childish. But as I
Yeah.
became a man, I was like, oh, this day I shouldn't have to do this to prove to whoever I'm loving or whatever that this. I've never liked that day. I've never. It's always made me feel uncomfortable. I've done it, but it's
Mhm.
always made me feel uncomfortable. I was married for a
Yeah.
long time and I did it, but
Like,
it always made me feel uncomfortable because I felt like I was proving to not the person I was living with, but the outside world. They could go and show these flowers. Look what he did, and it never
right.
felt authentic to me or genuine to me. It
Because
still does.
it should
Still
it
doesn't.
should be every day.
Every day.
Every day, just like Mother's Day. I'm not a big fan of Mother's Day either. I'm a mother.
Mhm.
I'm a great
Yeah.
mother. I want to be a great mother, recognized 365.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, don't
I
even mention Father's Day. Oh my God, they give us a tie and a belt and say, "Hey, thanks, Dad." So please, Father's Day is a joke.
I can see what you guys are saying. I'm a romantic, so I like to receive flowers and just,
I'm not saying anything's wrong with it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the pressure of it, it
Right.
doesn't feel authentic to me. I'm sure in your relationship it probably is, but I think it just feels like I've heard women mostly like that coworkers, he better give me a such as, I hear him talking to other, I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel authentic to me. It's like, you better do this for me because this is going to prove to me that you love me. One day out of the year. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
thing about it is so many of our holidays and celebrations have become more consumer oriented,
Yeah.
right? And it's
Yeah.
pushed on us instead of really feeling whatever it is that we're supposed to be celebrating.
I agree. I'm a bah humbug of all holidays. I am.
I get it. I get it because it's just so commercialized. It doesn't feel special anymore. Every
Yeah.
holiday, Christmas
Well,
starts in July, and
Well, and I think also, there's so much about each individual human, from the love languages to our personality profiles, and that's another aspect that's thrown in there. Like, I don't resonate for gifts. I mean, you give me gifts. I mean, I'll like a gift. I'm not going to reject it, but it's not my thing. It doesn't make me happy. Alex and I just spending him actually coming home at a decent hour so we can actually eat dinner together and just be together and watch Ted Lasso and laugh. That's my idea of Valentine's Day.
So it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't watched that, it's really funny. So
Headline.
thank you.
Right, yeah.
Get back. So he's got ants in his pants. He doesn't understand where we're going.
I've
He's
been
going
sing-
to the trainer. He is a year and a half. My other one in the car, she's 12. Yeah. And we just lost our 8-year-old. So I had 3 of them.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, so sorry.
I know. Wasn't the plan. I got the little one for the middle one, thinking that was the plan. But anyway, so we have this gap now. The older one's like, dude, I'm not here to be your babysitter. Anyway, but
I've
yeah, it's an interesting subject.
I've been single for many years, and it was a good excuse to celebrate. Because when you're single and Valentine's Day comes about, you really feel that void, I think. And
Yeah.
and I have a girlfriend at the moment who I would say I love unconditionally. We've only been together since June, but she's amazing, and she's accepted me for all the faults that I have with my mental illness and whatnot. And um, she she really wanted to celebrate as well, and we had a nice meal. We had candles when we got home and a romantic time. And it was a good excuse to do something special,
Hmm.
you know? And I felt that way. So, and especially after years of being single and years of not having anything to do on Valentine's Day, when uh, you know what social media is like. I didn't post anything on social media. I didn't post any pictures of the meal, pictures of us together. Or I don't. It's not my sort of thing. But appreciating the time together and celebrating our love, as raw as it might be, was a beautiful thing to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that brings up a good point too, is like between what Jeffrey, Melissa, and you said, Andy, is that if it's true unconditional love, we don't have to post it on Facebook and
Not at all.
brag about it or you know, celebrate it in that way, because it's between you and your significant other, or you and your children, or you and your parents, or whatever it is. Like, it's
Those that
just
you love
true
know it.
and
That's the
real,
most important thing, you know.
right? And it's a feeling, like, and I think you know, social media has blocked us from actually feeling a lot of things. We want to show off, right? We show off a lot of stuff, but that's not real. Not, I mean, there's how people react to it, but it doesn't make it a real connection. And that unconditional love is a real connection, whether it's a friendship or, you know, a romantic love. It can be charity,
And
you know?
it's egoless. It's nothing to do with the ego, you know. So
Right.
yeah, beautifully put, Carrie. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Dropping the ego, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tyrese. He's a singer. And
Yes.
speaking of this, okay, speaking of this, speaking of this unconditional love, he had an experience where he was going through something with his wife, and she wanted, like, you know, he makes money, so she wants $30,000 a month for the child that they had together. And so he was talking about it on social media. This is how disconnected social media is, in my opinion. He was talking about it, and he was opening up, and he was crying. He said, I just want to see my child. It shouldn't take $20,000, $30,000 for me to see my child. He was opening up. But the audience of that particular audience made memes of him and made fun of him. And this guy looks weak, you know? So unconditional love coming from a man didn't look that healthy to this audience he was just saying, this is where I am, you know, and he couldn't even show his unconditional love. You know,
I'd
so
see that. I'd see
that's,
that as a display of strength.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. I see it as a strength too, but it was just so sad to see
Yeah.
that, you know, how they came, you know, it was a joke. You know, this unconditional, he's showing this unconditional love for his children, just wants to see his children. And because he's a public figure or whatever, it was just something for them to joke about. And that's the disconnect with social media. It is a fake, it can be a real fake platform, you know. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna throw that in
Hi,
there.
Emma. We're glad to have you. I think there's a piece of vulnerability there too.
Mhm.
Like we don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable, especially in public arena.
Mhm.
And when you show vulnerability, I believe that that gives you more opportunity to experience unconditional love, because you're real. You're not
Yeah.
layered up with all the shoulds and the I should look like this or I should be like that. You're just real.
You're ready to receive.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
I think sometimes too, we can be our own worst enemy when it comes to feeling unconditional love, because sometimes if we're the type of person, I struggle with this, that's hard on themselves, and not always feeling worthy of something. In when someone has an issue with me or something about me, um, then I am automatically feeling like, or might be feeling like they don't love me. But I feel like just because someone has doesn't like every little thing about you doesn't mean they don't still love you. Like, I had that conversation with my husband before, because I feel like this is my first husband passed away. So this is my second marriage, and I really feel like he's my soulmate. Like, he is the place that I'm supposed to be, or the person that I'm supposed to be with, and we have a phenomenal marriage. But I'm my own worst enemy, because if there's something that he doesn't agree with or doesn't like, I've struggled for years with feeling like maybe he doesn't love me. He doesn't even like me. How can he possibly love me? We've had this conversation so many times. It's like, there's no one I'd rather be with. It doesn't make me love you any less. I still love you, but I might not just, like this one thing about you. And I feel like in that respect, I'm my own worst enemy, because I don't have that unconditional love for myself, which I'm working on, by the way, but I'm not there all the way yet. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for a good romance and a good love story. So Andy sharing his Valentine's thing, I just love that, because I'm a sucker for love and romance, and I feel like we show it every day. I definitely don't feel like I need a day set aside, but the flowers that I got, like, they made me feel special. I can't lie. Yeah, I can't lie.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, when it comes to social media, I am very vulnerable on social media, but I feel like it's how I serve and impact other people, is by being open about my life and about my experiences with grief and loss. And it's how I attract people to me that need to hear what I have to say. And it's how I offer hope to people. So I really use social media. I'm an open book on there, and I share everything because of losing my first husband and finding love again, and going through the loss of my son, and I'm experiencing joy every day, and I'm paying it forward and serving others, and honoring my loss in that way. So I feel like for me, but I definitely see where you guys are coming from, because I also see a lot of people that I know, their life is not all unicorns and rainbows, but on social media, you think they have the perfect marriage and they have the perfect life, and they just have a need to show people the perfect everything. But then there's the flip side, where I feel like I have to show up like that. I have to allow people to see that I'm still a work in progress, but I've been through all these things, and I can still live a happy life, and I can find moments of joy, and I can live a life of gratitude even after suffering loss. So I use social media a lot in that respect.
I do too. I agree. I'm not knocking completely social media, and because I use it for the same thing. I try to back away from it, but people will DM me, inbox me, and like, well, why'd you stop? Because I put these. It's like my ongoing public journal. That's what it is supposed to become for me. So yeah, I see the. And I met, I met Carrie through social media, and all of you through social. So I'm not knocking it completely. I'm just saying sometimes it can be a really violent, mean spirited way to come across to people. We of course we're countering that, thank God, but I just see some of that sometimes, and it just irks me.
Yeah, no, and I get that too. I've gotten people, I got a lot of backlash over even daring to compare, and I wasn't even comparing, but I did a video and some posts about the fact that we feel grief from any major life change, not just a physical loss. And I happened to mention the real grief that we feel at the end of a relationship or divorce. And I got the craziest negative feedback for even daring to say that. It was people, mostly widows, were saying, but I'm like, I'm a widow too. But I had just finished with a client who went through my coaching program after getting divorced, and her grief was real. It was grief. She was grieving the loss of all of her hopes and dreams and plans for the future that she had with this person. And even though he was still alive, her grief was still real grief. I'm not saying it's the same, and I don't believe in comparing one person's grief to another person's grief, but these people were angry. I actually ended up just like having to keep people off my page, and they were angry that I even dared to say that the grief from divorce was like real grief. But my whole point is saying, like, let's don't compare grief. Let's not compare my journey to your journey and her journey to her journey. And let's just respect everyone's journey, as you know, and give them the space to grieve, because we don't always give people the space to grieve. Like a pet loss is another one that's huge. And I know for me and my personal experience, it's huge, and I've seen the after effects of it on people, but a lot of people in society don't have any respect for that. And then, you know, people feel guilty for displaying their grief and feel like they have to keep it to themselves and, you know, hide it. And it's just an awful experience. And I know I'm way off topic.
That's when you need to go to the dictionary and look up the word grief and like, just put it out there. So period, end of story, mic drop, done.
Yeah, I think there's grief around so much in our lives. You know, even if it's selling your home, it can be something that you choose to do, but still have grief over. I remember crying when we sold our home because my kids all came home to that, you know, that firstborn home. But do you wonder the people who have kickback about vulnerability is like their missing link is love and connection. So instead of them reaching out and saying, oh, tell me more about grief or tell me more about your experience, they're pushing you away because they don't have that vulnerability and connection and love in their lives. So they're kicking back because they're like, oh, well, you might have something that I don't have or never experienced. Like they've never experienced unconditional love. So in a way, if you don't have unconditional love, or maybe just any love and connection, then you don't experience grief in the same way and loss in the same way. And does that make sense? Am I talking?
Yeah. No, I think it makes sense. And I think it's very valid point. And that's, I think, what makes grief so unique and specific to the individual, because we're all different people. We've all had different experiences. We all grew up different. We have, whether we've experienced unconditional love or love on any level versus someone who hasn't had unconditional love. And some people have support systems. Some people don't have support systems. So it's really, that's what makes it so unique. So what you're saying is like, definitely, it definitely comes into play in how we handle our emotions and how we treat other people that we encounter who might be grieving a loss or, you know, some sort of life change.
Yeah.
I like to say something about the unconditional love that's resonating for me now that I'm listening to everybody. But I call that Alex and Bruce on that one. It was only fruit. Don't even make it a step. Anyway, I'm just realized having my little light bulb moment is, you know, I think individually as humans, like, I think that's probably why people maybe don't feel it. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this. I think the unconditional love for yourself is crucial. And I realize, like, I 100% love myself. And again, I'm not perfect. So therefore, I have to give myself that unconditional love for any of my wrongdoings or hurts to other people or how I show up, but I have to love myself first. It's almost comparing in my mind the oxygen mask. Like I have to love myself first. To love other people, but not in the same way of the unconditional love I have for myself, actually. Does that make any sense?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that it's so important
Like
because,
to-
go ahead. If you don't love yourself, I mean, the thing that I've learned is like how we love ourselves is how we teach other people to love us, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
So if we don't love ourselves, then we can't even have an expectation of what it feels like to love another and show them what we need and how we need to be loved.
Yeah. That's what it
I'm
did for
not
me.
perfect.
That's a good point, because I think expecting something from someone uh, um, that I wasn't even giving myself, it kind of woke me up to that. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm needy for this acceptance from someone else, but I don't feel that way about myself. Maybe I don't think I'm worthy of it. Maybe that's why I'm not getting it from there, because I'm not getting it from here.
Right.
You know, that kind of woke me up to that. I'm like, oh, I gotta love Jeff more. I gotta
Right.
love Jeff. I shouldn't have to run after anything or anybody. If I'm fine enough, other things will come to me. That's what I feel about it now. I didn't always feel that way. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
that's
and because we know we're not perfect, every
Right.
single one of us knows we're not perfect
Mm-hmm.
individually, but yet when we realize when you love yourself, that's the ultimate unconditional love, because I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm not perfect, but I love myself and I'm
Right.
gonna just show up and do better. Or yeah, so maybe the unconditional love really needs to start with yourself
Mm-hmm.
before we can worry about loving other people unconditionally. I just don't think that seems realistic to me.
Mhm.
I think loving other people is beautiful and obviously a beautiful thing, but I think it comes with too many expectations of the other person than showing up in the manner that you automatically want, because that's just human nature.
right.
Mhm.
But if you can love yourself that way, then maybe you have less expectations for the person that
True.
Mhm.
that you want to love you.
Right.
Maybe
Maybe.
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
hard
And
journey.
I
It
would
is.
say, I think part of it is about learning to accept that people are going to love us in the way that they love, and not the way that goes back to that expectations, not the way necessarily that we are wanting or expecting to be loved.
Right.
How everybody shows love differently. And again, I think it just goes back to our backgrounds, our upbringing, like, because we're all unique and special. And I guess, it's our job to teach people how to treat us and to share, what your love language might be, or, you know, what you might like to receive. Because sometimes we just think that we just automatically think, well, why don't they know that this is
Right.
what I want?
Right.
Why don't they realize that
Yeah.
I'm looking for that, or that's what I want them to do? And um yeah, and that's something I had to learn in my relationship with my husband. We came from two totally different backgrounds, two different races. It was whew, bringing them two together, and we were both previously married. So um I had a lot to learn, and he had a lot to learn. And he used to always say to me, like, well, you have to tell me. Like, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know everything. And if I promise, if you just give me the opportunity and let me know that you want something different, or you're looking for a particular thing, I'm not a mind reader. I'll listen openly. I'm not going to say I'm going to do everything 100% of the time, but if you just tell me and give me the chance, it's not fair for you just to assume I'm not doing it because I don't want to do it. I don't know that you want me to do it. So that was a hard one for me to learn.
And
But
sometimes people say they love you, and they don't. And sometimes you got to just accept that too. Sometimes, you know, we get in the habit of just saying that word, just throwing that word out there. And you think, okay, but they really don't, because they haven't come to, they're not at that point in their lives. They may not even love themselves. And you're expecting all this stuff from, and when you say it, you feel a certain way. But when they say it, they're just saying it because it's, you know, a reflex.
Right.
And that's
Right.
a lesson to learn too.
Well, I think you touched on like the love languages is fundamental, and when I awoke into that concept in that book, I always say Mr. Kaplan should pay me royalties for how many times I talk about his book and share with people. We should give them out to every preschooler, quite frankly. But
Right.
you know, the bottom line is the very first sentence, that not the first sentence in the first paragraph, but the first page in the book. You know, he says, you know, we choose to love, and it's a choice. And it became a prerequisite for me dating, and Alex and I fell in love because of the love languages. And you know, we don't always do great every single day, but it's crucial to know what fills the other person's tank. And it just explains so much about relationships failing, period. If you don't have that information to start with. And it makes total sense to me why we have the 2-year infatuation and then everybody shits the bed because they don't have that information that is so critical. And you know, we don't do every single day, but you know, at least we know what we're supposed to be doing for our partner, for each other at least, or for your children or my children. But yeah, unconditional love. It's I guess it ties into that, you know, we choose to love kind of thing, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it is about choosing to also learn who you unconditionally love and let them, like Terry was saying, let them know your needs. And then that helps them to tell you their needs, because their love language is different. And you're expressing your love language in the way that you do. And then you're like, wait a minute, they didn't receive that as like I wanted them to receive it. And you're like, well, why don't you? I mean, I gave you this gift, and this is how I to express my love. And you're like, okay. And then you're like, oh, they don't love me because they're not accepting my love language. And
Right.
yeah, it
Especially
all
being
comes
like
down
a
to
poet.
communication.
Especially being like a poet. I'm all romantic. Like, ooh, okay, this is gonna really do it. Well, for some people that doesn't work. Like, that's corny. That's corny for some folks. I'm like, really? I thought this was, you know. So yeah, you gotta definitely. Lord, please, I could write a book about
Yeah,
that.
they're not words of affirmation. They want you to take out the trash.
Yeah. Like
Exactly.
that shit is corny to some folks. So.
Exactly. That's I've had that exact
taught
conversation with my husband, and he'd be like, "Well, you thought you were doing something. If you want to do something nice for me, then you should ask me if that's something I want you to do for me, or find out first if that's something like I appreciate that you made this effort, but that's not really my thing, or that's not really and it can be like crushing, like, wow, I was so excited to do this for you. But then when you think about it in reality, if it's not something that is their love, that makes perfect sense. Like, yeah, why wouldn't every woman love poetry? Like,
right. They don't, trust me. Trust me on that
That's
one.
really funny. You're like, before I waste my time and write this poem for you, would you prefer I go buy you flowers?
yeah. You pour my heart out.
Yeah, pour my heart
My
out. You're
own
like,
words.
this is corny shit. Please stop.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I'm words of affirmation. You can write me a poem any day.
I see Neil's wheels turning. He's grinning and laughing.
Come on,
No,
Neil.
I
You've been
agree.
awfully quiet.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, and I sometimes I struggle with the unconditional love thing too, because I hate to even say this, but what if somebody you unconditionally love does something so terrible that not to you but to somebody else? I mean, do your parents unconditionally love their kids that are serial killers? I don't know. I don't know if I could. And I'm not trying to change the subject, but that was, when we first started, we were talking about that. That just kind of resonated with me a little bit. That you know, unconditional is a big word. It just is.
It is.
So,
it goes with trust, right?
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody
Right.
except myself and
Your
dogs
dogs, right?
and my dogs. I do trust my
Yeah.
dogs.
There you go.
And then I trust people as they earn it and, and develop, and I get to know them, and it's not something it's just given, it's earned.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Jeffrey, no offense, but if you write me a poem, it's not going to do it for me either. I'm sorry.
Hey, wait a
I love you, but that's not going to do
minute.
it.
He likes my
Oh,
poems,
goodness.
right, Neil?
that was a good one. Neil got a good
No, I
one.
do.
Say, now, wait a minute. Unconditional
That's all
love
good.
it's a hard topic, it's hard to wrap your brain around. Loving someone regardless of who they have become or what they do, or so is it even a thing? We'd like to think it is.
Are our dogs the only one truly capable of giving us unconditional love, free of judgment, free of
Right?
expectations? Yeah, like,
Yeah, that's hard.
I
Makes
don't
you wonder.
know. Are you a
Yeah.
dog person, Jeff? Do you have
Yes,
a dog?
love them.
Ever
I have
had
a
a
little
dog?
one that's adopted me, kind of, but I'm really a big
Okay.
dog person. But this little
I'm a
one
big
likes.
dog person. So then you have you have to have
That's true.
had
That's true. Right.
unconditional love, because that's
Right.
where I've like unequivocally gotten it from, is my
That's true.
dogs.
They look
Yeah.
at you like they just met you for the first time every
Yeah.
single day. Every single day. Yeah.
And you
Definitely.
are the world to them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
We're always happy to see you.
Yep.
Always.
Yep.
And the trust that they give you, like roll over
Yeah.
and let them belly their vulnerability.
Yeah.
I mean, they're very good at vulnerability too.
Yeah.
Man, we could learn some things from our pets.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Even the cats, we
Very
can learn things from our cats too. Like how to just say, hey, that ain't my thing today. I'm over here.
Yeah. That's it. I'm not doing that.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
What a great discussion, guys.
Always. Yeah. Such a.
I love how, especially the last two conversations, forgiveness in January and unconditional love being today, is how it starts off like, I don't even know what to say about it. And that once we get to talking about it, we're like, oh, well, yeah. And then it
Mhm.
expands.
Yeah.
That's what these conversations are about, like understanding and, believing in these little things, but having a deeper understanding for what they mean or what they may not mean at all. So,
And how frightening they can be.
mhm.
Because vulnerability that's a frightening thing for me, at least, because you don't want to look stupid. At least I don't want to look stupid at the end of the day. So that vulnerability it's a hard one. So yeah, unconditional love, all of that stuff is deep conversation. It's really good. I'm getting ready to next week. I'm going to be in Texas, and I'm on a panel discussion about men and mental health. And I'm sure that's going to bring up a bunch of stuff, because us men hold so, I think I mentioned this in the last meeting time we talked, that men hold so much stuff in. And then if you show your vulnerability and it gets hurt, then you even go into your closet even more. So
Right.
I'm sure that's going to bring up a bunch of stuff when we do that, when we talk about that.
Is that going to be recorded, Jeffrey?
I don't know. I just met the guy that's putting it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I hope it
Hopefully.
is. You can share it. I would love to. And Andy, that might be a really good thing for you guys too. If he's
Yeah,
still
sure. Yeah.
to share that, because anytime we put ourselves out there, whether it's to love or be in charity or anything, we are risking being hurt.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
we
so
had someone on the group this week tell me about they were about to commit suicide, and someone said something on the group that prevents them from doing it. And it was like, it just put it home, because how important the work I'm doing is, and how important the sharing of compassion is, and how important we are coming together and supporting one another in the way that we do on the group. So
Mhm.
and I spoke to him afterwards, and I said, are you glad that you shared that? I won't say his name, but he said, yeah, it made a world of difference.
Mm.
You know,
That's
Yeah.
good.
he did specify that we were going to have a talk later on. We were going to have a chat on Zoom later on, and he said he did specify, don't mention what I meant, what I brought up. He didn't want to go further into it and dive into it deeply, or talk to other people about it in great depth. But he was so thankful that he did bring it up. You know.
Mhm.
That's very
Well,
vulnerable.
hopefully the more he talks about it, the easier it'll be for him to talk to you and others about it. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, I'm sure you're supporting him and helping him in time. So that's very commendable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Just breaks my heart that people are in
Very,
that feeling of hopelessness.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank
Well,
goodness.
and
Cindy.
men don't like to share their feelings, a lot of them to begin with, you know. So
Right.
Mhm.
it's so hard for them. A lot of guys,
Right.
not my guy, but a lot of guys.
Mhm.
part of that's, I think you're nurtured by your fathers to suck it up and do it kind of, it's, that's a whole nother discussion, but,
Yeah. That's a good one.
so,
Nature versus nurture discussion.
Yeah.
Keep giving me ideas. We'll be going on for years.
That's a
that might
great
be a
thought.
several
That would be,
sessions.
yeah, that would be a good one.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. They one guy I don't know who it was. Somebody sent it to me. I don't know if any of you've seen it, but they had there was this huge field, like it seemed like it went on for miles, and they had all these shoes out here. Maybe I mentioned this before, and all the shoes were the shoes of men who had taken their lives this year or in 2023, and it was so
Oh
hard.
my.
All of these shoes, somebody had walked in these shoes that didn't feel like life was worth living anymore. It was just a
Oh,
powerful. I mean, he didn't even have to say much. He just said that at the beginning, and then the camera just rolled over all of these shoes, showing all these. I'm like, man, that's a lot.
where
And
was
that
that?
was in one state, huh?
Where was that?
I'm not sure. I'll have to find it. Somebody,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, it was so powerful.
That just gave me
Oh,
chills.
that's so,
Yeah,
yeah,
hard.
that's terrible.
Yeah, yeah. So
You
stuff
know
like
what?
this is
Feel
so
like
important.
if we could teach people that, feelings are it's just, I think the feelings are feelings. Like you're gonna get over it. Like just ride the wave. Just
Mm-hmm.
take a breath,
Mhm.
ride the wave. Let
Mhm.
it do its purpose. Like bad feelings, bad situations, not everything is not have a purpose, it's and I'm not talking about grief situations by any means. But I'm talking about like just stuff, we just have to hold on. We gotta pretend like we're in a roller coaster. We just buckled in and realize that we just gotta ride that ride and be like, there's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of hoo-ha and then a lot of like, oh shit,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
maybe a couple tears and crap your pants, it's all gonna happen. It's okay. It's
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah,
Nothing's worth taking your life.
right.
Yeah. I mean, emotions are feelings in motion, and they're supposed to
Yeah.
flow through you. And a lot of what happens in our world is that people feel something and they're like, whoa, nope. And then
Mhm.
they hold it in and they don't let it flow. And that's when all the anger and the hatred and all that stuff builds up because people are just holding on to all this instead of letting it flow through them and working through it. I say you never
Yeah.
get over anything. You get through it. And if you
Mhm.
get
Yes.
over it, it's going to come back and bite you. So you have to get through it. There's
100%.
lessons. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
We need to
lessons.
teach. We need to give these are the kind of lessons that kindergartners need to be hearing, not worrying about their ABCs that will come.
Right.
Mhm.
We need to be giving them
true.
all of this kind of stuff.
Emotional health. Yeah. I think
Yes,
education,
emotional health.
our educational system is another one that we need to sit and have a conversation about. So,
Yeah.
CB,
Just getting people through. That's
Phoebe,
such
thank you. So glad you were here.
deadly.
Thank you. We'll catch up soon again. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
B.
here.
Bye.
Yeah. Powerful conversations, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really go for it, you guys do.
I'm sorry.
Really go for it. You go deep.
Yeah, we do.
It's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. And Jeffrey, best of luck with your talk, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
thanks.
definitely.
Stick
I
it
hope,
to
I
it,
hope
man.
we can,
Stick it to
I hope
it.
they tape it. I hope they, yeah, it should be a really, and the name of it is called, He's Gonna Cry Alone in the Car. That's what he called it. And I'm like, and it's such a great title because I remember sometimes being depressed, dealing with stuff, and I had small children at the time. And I would go to my car. I didn't want my kids to see me cry. I didn't want my wife to see me cry. And I sit in my car and I would cry. So his title, I was like, man, that shit, it really hit me. I'm like, how did he come up with that title? I guess he's probably done that too. And probably a lot of men have done that, cried in their car. So it's a powerful, I can't wait. I can't wait. So
When is this and where is this?
it's in Texas, Dallas, Texas, the 23rd. Friday the 23rd in Dallas,
Nice.
Texas. Yeah. So,
Good for
But it's not gonna be live streamed.
God,
you know, I hope it is. I'm not sure if it is.
If it is, you let us know so we can be there for you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, will you let the new group know as well, Carrie, if he does, please?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, please.
That'd be
Love to
cool.
follow Jeffrey's journey.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
well, we'll have to have a special program, just Jeffrey, with you coming back and telling us all about your experience.
Okay. I'll probably cry a lot. I don't know if men will like that, but I'm sure I'll
That's
cry.
That's good. That's good.
I do
Because
cry.
it's going to hit on some topics, I'm sure. But I think most of the guys in the and the interesting thing, I don't want to take up too much time. The interesting thing is women can come and they can ask questions, but beyond that, it's the guys dealing with the guy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
all these men are going to be putting themselves out there in
I
front
love
of men. Their wives can come, girlfriends can come, sisters can come, but they can ask questions, but they can't jump in and tell these guys what they're feeling. The guys are going to do that.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
Wow.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You're gonna
hope
have a referee
you
there
should-
to control that.
You should tell him to live stream it. That would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to ask the guy about that. That'd be great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you all. This is, man, 2 in a row, like knocking me off my feet.
Right.
Yeah,
These
I've been
topics are
playing in
so,
the deep end.
yeah.
Such
Yeah.
powerful conversations.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, next time we're going to talk about connection
Mm.
and what connection is and how that brings people together and tears people apart.
Mhm.
Bring people together. We're just going to keep on the positive side.
Mhm.
So if you have any thoughts or anything about that and you want to send those to me, I will put them out and I can create a Canva to put those out on social media. Please continue to invite your friends and family and people that you think would benefit from these conversations, and we'll keep growing. And I just thank each of you for being here and supporting and being vulnerable and sharing your unconditional love with each of us.
You all.
Yes.
It really,
you,
it really
everybody.
helps you all. Everything that you guys and ladies are saying, trust me, I take it. I'm sure everybody here takes it. It really helps. So don't hold back. I think when Carrie and I first started talking about doing this, we were saying we don't want people to hold back just because what you're wanting to hold back is probably what somebody needs to hear. So thank you all for being so
Yeah.
honest and genuine because it really helps us get through the day. And when something comes up, at least for me, I'm like, oh, some stuff that Melissa said last month, I like carried it through the whole month. Like, man, that was powerful.
Aw,
So, yeah. So,
good.
so don't hold back because it really one of us needs to hear it. One of us needs to hear it. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. I guarantee
Yeah,
it.
he was punching it out almost.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for sharing.
Absolutely.
Sorry
thank
about my having not to be able to be still here, but
You're fine. Hey, you showed up,
here.
and showing
Yeah, you
up
were
is
here.
the
That's
most
all that
important
matters.
part.
Just glad you made it through meditation, driving.
I listen. Just listening is good.
Yeah,
Very-
it's cool. I gotta write a poem for Neil now. He done got me started.
Bring it on. I'll read it.
Thank you all though.
Hey, speaking of
Yeah.
poems, this is really interesting. I was at a real estate thing a couple weeks ago in Durham, and there was this gentleman there in a vendor booth, and I can't remember what his name was. I have his card at home, but he's a poet. And basically, you walk up to him and you just give him a word, and he had an old-fashioned typewriter, and
Oh,
he
I've seen
just
that
like
done.
he just was
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
and did a poem like that. And
Yeah.
my word was abundance, and he did just an amazing poem. It blew me away. I had to stand there and just listen for other people's poems because I was so floored by his ability to
Mhm.
write a poem so quickly on the spot
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Ah,
I've seen it down.
need to
Yeah.
meet him. Jeffrey needs to
If you
Yeah.
On another topic here, then abundance.
Abundance. That's another good
I-
one. Another good one.
I keep
Love that
I'll keep
word.
writing them down. All right.
Right. Thank you
Keep
all.
'em
It's a
coming.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a
Take care,
blessed
everybody.
next
All
weekend.
right. Thank you so much for your words. All right. Come back. All right. Take care.
Peace and love.
All right,
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.